Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be going over one of the newer pair of pants, which is Tassets of the Dawning Sky. Tassets of the Dawning Sky are a special pair of unique pants that do have an increased drop rate from the Beast in the Ice. As you can see here, Tassets of the Dawning Sky are ones that you can get from Beast in the Ice. And that's actually where I got mine, was from Beast in the Ice. Now, these particular pants are actually pretty sick, and as we go over them, I think you'll agree. First off, they have, while injured, your potion also grants 30% movement speed for 2 seconds. This does go up to, I think, 45% when they're fully upgraded. In fact, you know what, let's go ahead and fully upgrade them real quick so we can get the maximum stats. Why not? There you go, 45%. And it also has all stats, 15 to 27 all stats, which are actually pretty good because it helps you hit those special breakpoints that you need for rare nodes and things on your Paragon board. It also has all resistances on it of 9.3%, which rolls between 8.1 and 16.5% all res. I got kind of a low roll. Pretty nice amount of life on there as well, 605 to 1,310 maximum life, as well as 12.5% control paired in duration reduction, which means you get stunned and frozen and stuff for less time. But the real meat and potatoes of this particular item, and what makes it so ridiculously tanky, is the fact that it gives you a increase to your maximum resistance, much the same way that Guardian Angel did back in Diablo 2. So when you take damage from a non-physical damage type, you gain 9% increased maximum resistance, varies between 6 to 10, to that damage type for 6 seconds. This effect can only apply once to any damage type at any given time. So for instance, if I were to throw these on and walk outside and get beat up, one of the things that you'll notice is, and we can pull up the panel here, it's a little bit difficult to do this. I really wish they gave us a little bit more room, but let me just go ahead and do this anyway. Alright, so we're just going to have to move in one direction. I need to get hit by something before the effect can actually occur. Here's some more monsters over here. Ow.
I'm not ready yet.
I hate how hitting the Q button reduces the panel. But basically how this works is that when you get hit by an element of, well, any type, the element will automatically increase the maximum resistance for that element type. And if I can find a monster type that can actually hit me with an elemental damage attack, that would be great. And I can show you exactly how it works. But of course it doesn't work with physical damage, because physical damage is not elemental. And most of those monsters I was fighting over there were physical. Let's see if we can find a decent elemental damage type monster. So here we go, we've got fire. So when I get hit by the fire, my fire resistance should go up as a result. And of course, gotta stand here and like let myself get beat down, which is half the trouble, right? So there you go. So you now see my fire resistance is at 79% after I got hit. And then I got hit by a different element, and then that resistance went up, so shadow resistance went up. The other interesting thing about this is that it actually makes for a very interesting way to see exactly what kind of damage the monster is dishing out. So if you're unsure of what kind of damage a monster may be putting out, you can always put on your Tassets of the Dawning Sky, let them wail on you for a little bit, and watch the resistances and see which one rises up. Because if that particular resistance goes up, well then, you know that that's the damage type they're doing, because it's only going to raise the damage type that they're actually putting out. So this is a really interesting way to have almost a reactive defensive system versus any particular resistance, which is going to increase your maximum resistance by almost about 10% if you have a good pair. I'm only at 9, but if you have a really nice pair, it'll bring you up by 10%. And the cap is 85%. So if you were to combine, say, the Tassets of the Dawning Sky with something like a really nice resistance potion, of course these are weak versions, but they give increases to maximum resistance, and you could very easily hit the 85% cap, protecting yourself almost entirely from that particular resistance element. Of course, there's multiple resistances here. We have fire, lightning, cold, poison, and shadow. And it only works against one particular resistance of any time. So I think a failing of this is that it might not protect you against say, a group of monsters that contains, say, multiple element types. So if you have like fire, lightning, cold, poison, shadow, like all running at the same time, it kind of flits back and forth between the different elements, which may or may not be super helpful. I don't know, I kind of think it should just give you that one element and then keep it for the 6 seconds and then apply a new one. But what it actually seems to do is, like, if you get hit by fire, it gives you the 10% fire resistance, and then if you get hit by cold, it gives you the 10% cold resistance, takes away the 10% fire, and so forth and so on, and so it flits around back and forth. They're definitely highly defensive pants, though, with the addition of the all resistances, and also the life, and the control impaired reduction, and then the maximum resistances that they give as well. They actually work very well as defensive pants for that reason, and you'll find that in general, when it comes to these pants, you're going to notice the defensiveness increase, because it's just going to protect you against whatever element that's currently being, slung at you in large quantities. Especially for the bosses. So, for instance, Grigore is entirely lightning, so when you fight him, he's going to hit you with lightning damage, and you're going to gain that 10% additional lightning resistance while fighting Grigore. Beast in the Ice is entirely ice damage. Duriel is poison damage, and so forth and so on. So as you fight them, the bosses specifically, one thing you'll notice is that these pair pants will actually ridiculously protect you versus those elements, because you're going to be constantly hit by that element and constantly defended against that element. These are pretty sick to get your hands on. They do have some flavor text, which is, "May the light of Father Anarius shine down upon all weary travelers of this holy land. Turn your face toward his radiance and find your strength renewed." Statue inscription. I'm actually using a different pair of pants right now, which is the Blood Moon Breeches, and that's because I like the auto curses. And if it wasn't for the fact that they were competing with each other right now, but between the auto curses and the additional damage reduction, I'd probably be using the Tassets of the Dawning Sky right now. I just remember, I'm gonna keep them no matter what. And this is kind of a really silly thing: is even if I don't use them, I'm gonna keep them, because I want to be able to see what damage type specific monsters are, so I know which potions to use and whatnot. Because it's not always apparent. It's not always readily apparent what type of damage a monster may be putting out. And because this will show you exactly what damage type the monster is putting out, it's really easy for you to figure it out by just watching your resistances here and seeing which elements are going up, so you can figure out which elements you need to focus on. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're talking about the new unique item, a Tassets of the Dawning Sky. And as always, keep watching.